So the Ekiti people have decided, and of course they decided that Abiodun Abayomi Onyebaji will lead them as the next governor-elect, and the election conducted yesterday. Yes, the election was generally peaceful, and of course it was the first election that held after the electoral amendment, and of course there were changes, most especially the introduction of BVAS and the simultaneous voting and accreditation and voting at the same time. It was quite encouraging. Of course, today we say we will continue from where we stopped yesterday, and that is talking about the food sufficiency in Nigeria. We had tons of messages that came in, and I'm sure a lot will come in today, so we'll share with you as they come. But let's first take this one. This one say, good morning, Weekend Deal. The only way we can reach food sufficiency in Nigeria, food sufficient supply, is by opening all borders we have and allow all imports of foreign rice. Our rice cultivation is not enough for us because we are too populated in this country. Of course, that is his opinion. And well, right now let's join Francis Ogbe to take this background report on food sufficiency in Nigeria.
Nigeria is a country richly blessed with abundant natural and human resources, yet it is experiencing persistent food challenges, both in terms of quality and quantity.
As a farmer, I tend to get good money for my produce. So why do I have to, after producing maybe a food crop, or probably I take that my EOP or maybe my economical production for a food, probably for cassava is 200,000, and at the end of the day, with the production cost, probably it's taking me over like 300,000. And at the end of the day, how much am I getting if I'm pushing it on the money? Then I have somebody that's telling me to go and sell for a ton for 500,000. I'm here to make profit. So probably that is most what commercial farmers do. So by exporting it, making the availability of food so low that the market prices tends to so high. So the demand is high. Probably the prices is going to get high.
Every year, a staggering 1.3 billion tons of food is either lost immediately after harvesting or thrown away due to bad quality. Nigeria, for instance, is estimated to produce about 850 metric tons of mangoes annually, with most of this production via small-scale and subsistence farms scattered across the country. During the peak season for the tropical fruits, it is widely available and sold at low profit to farmers, while large quantities of the fruit are being wasted due to few facilities for storage and processing.
If you come to mango production, you go to Nasarawa State. I worked at a farm when I was out of school. You see that the production of mangoes is a peak period. You see mangoes all over the places. You see them wasting on the road. Mangoes tends to be chosen. But at the end of the day, there's no storage facilities for them. There's no industries to absorb these mangoes. So you can turn mangoes into juice. There's a lot of things you can do with mangoes. But at the end of the day, because of lack of storage facilities and also lack of industries that will be able to come in to absorb these products, because even you check the ones for tomato paste, you have the machines, but what are the availability of those products? Then when you have the availability of the products, where are the industry to absorb it?
Small-scale farmers with less than 2 hectares of land produce about 90% of the food in Nigeria. Unless they employ sustainable farming practices to protect land, water and soil, avoid over-reliance on rain-fed agriculture, and embrace irrigation farming, farmers won't be able to produce enough food to feed the nation.
Up in the north, you have the solar power. You can also have the wind power. It's just investment that we will be able to key in money to do these things so that people will know that I can have this produce 24/7. There's nothing like wasted when we will peak period and no peak period. So what we look at is for them to invest money.
As bandits continue to attack communities, many farmers have fled their farms and some have vowed never to return until security is beefed up around them. This, if not checked, will have adverse effect on food sufficiency in the country.
What we have here is subsistence farmers. We need to bring in the commercial farmers, where you can come in and have one farmer having up to 100,000 hectares of farmland, one farmer having up to 50,000 hectares. Then we bring in the industry. We need people to come in to produce. We need people to come in to invest. They will have castor seed. It's one of the most expensive oils in the world. You have sesame seed. All these things are waste. So we need an encouragement. We need a sensitization, where we let people to know that there's security. But first and foremost, the government have to secure the farmland. If the farmlands are not secure, nobody is going to come in. Give us good roads and also provide enabling environment, because when you're taking a product from one local government to another, you tend to pay. Each local government you're passing with your product, you're paying to the tax force. It doesn't help. It also tends to help the prices of food to be so high. So imagine taking a product from Jos to Abuja. Do you know how many local governments I have to pass?
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on food sufficiency in Nigeria.
I think we all can agree that we have challenges that we must attend to in order to guarantee that self-sufficiency in food production in the country. And yes, these days, if you go to the market and you want to buy chicken now, probably you think differently because the prices are just too high, because even the egg is very costly, and you wonder why this increase in prices in the prices of livestock livestocks in the market. So let's join NTA Kaduna to give us more details on this.
Poultry farming in Nigeria is probably one of the most lucrative farming business you can engage in. But farmers lament over the sustainability of still being in the business.
The reason is because even the day old now, they are very expensive. We are buying it like this one that you have seen. We buy it day old per one is 630 naira for day old. Then before you have going to sell it, it will reach about 6 to 7 weeks. Then the food, we are buying one bag about 8,000 naira. They are eating about 13 bags, that is for 6 weeks. Then if you calculate the money, how much you will spend, then how much you will sell it for the people, then how much you as a seller you will gain, you are on gaining. So that is why the chicken is very expensive now. Layers, you will spend for them about 6 months before they start even laying their egg. So that money that you are even spending, if you are doing it for business, you have to know how to get your own benefit out of it. So that is why everything now is very expensive. And there is even medicine that you used to give them, even if this is these broilers that we are putting. You have to give them medicine, you have to give them food, you have to take care of them. At least in a day, you have to give them food like 4 to 5 times in a day.
A veterinarian shed light on why the feed is on the high side.
The real producers of maize and soya are not able to go to their farm due to insecurity that is going in the country. So now this affects feed. Taking together with the cost of foreign materials that are also used, it makes the cost of feed expensive. So now you put in all these costs together, and then to feed the birds, you see, we have the cost of production of their feed. which is very high. Raw materials like maize and soya is scarce, which makes it expensive. Foreign exchange makes the other micronutrients expensive. The cost of the day-old chicks, based on the cost of running hatchery, is also expensive. So now put all this together, it makes the cost of birds and eggs expensive.
For a better nutrient and satisfaction, there is need to keep livestock farming in order to sustain the Nigerian economy.
All right, there you have it. And I know that some states governments, they have a specific ministry dedicated for, livestock and fisheries. And this is one thing that you would love to see in almost all the states, because when you have that, there seems to be more concentration or dedication to, that particular aspect of, agriculture, because it's one area that needs massive, improvement. And of course, if the farmers are equally supported, it will go a long way in ensuring that there is a reduction in the prices of these livestock products we found in the market. And we have a couple of messages here. Let's take this one before our next report. It says, I am Mr. Raymond James. As the southern, okay, fine. From southern part of Nigeria, of course, I discovered the following problems of agriculture in Nigeria: land tenure system, lack of adequate machines, tractors, low storage facility, insecurity, ignorance among farmers, corrupt leaders, those representing farmers or taking decision for farmers are not sincere, governments are not well informed. Of course, that's your opinion, and yes, that's why we are here, to expose some of these issues in order to get it right in this country. And our next report will be coming from NTA Abuja, and of course, we all know we like yam, we like pounded yam, but you need to buy the yam in order to make your pounded yam. But how cheap is it in the market? Let's join NTA Abuja.
Abuja is among the states in Nigeria known for the high production of yams due to its large and vast landscape and intense rainfall. Yet, the price of yam in the market has gone beyond the reach of the average citizen. A market survey conducted by the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, confirms that a set of 5 tubers that used to sell for between 3,000 to 4,000 is now being sold between 5,500 naira to 6,000. The farmers' defense for this anomaly consists of a lot of factors and challenges.
One of the reasons is transportation. Then secondly, many people comes into Abuja to come and buy, especially the Ghanaians. They come here, most of the yam they export, labeling it Ghanaian yams, is yams that we produce here in Abuja. That they come to the market and then they higher the price. Herbicide has increased to the higher level price now. We are buying a liter at the rate of 2.5. Now a liter has rose to almost 4,000. At the fertilizer that was sold at the rate of 8,000 now is 17,000 to 20,000. And you will not even see it to buy. Not only that, when farmers are bringing these yams to the market, there are a lot of many middlemen. These middlemen contribute to it as well. And also, some of the levies in the market. For instance, a farmer packages yam, sometimes he pay twice. Right away from the farm, we try to give them time to sell, especially those that we have grouped them into clusters. You'll find out at the time that those farmers that we group them into cluster, at the time that they will bring out their yams, you find out that yam will be very, very cheap.
A yam farmer is not always easy. because especially in Abuja, Abuja is very vast in terms of land, but recently with the encroachment of the FCT has actually collected a lot of farmland. So that has been a challenge. The prices of herbicide, the prices of fertilizer, the prices of farm input generally, and the government is not actually giving subsidy to the farmers. Even agricultural loans that the farmers need to is expected to access. There are stringent measures, and some of these things the farmer cannot ordinarily achieve them, access them. So it becomes an issue. Even the fertilizer, the ones that government procure for the farmers, the peasant farmer, who is the real farmer, find it difficult to access. Also, the feeder routes need to be worked upon so that the farmer can access their farmland and also transport their goods to the market.
However, there is an urgent need for the Nigerian government and yam farmers, especially the smallholder farmers, to work together for a sustainable yam production and marketing.
I know we also produce a large volume of yam in Niger State as well. Now, the next comment here is, he says, my name is Jacob Hassan Robert from Damaturu, Yobe State. It is very obvious that our output of farm products is beginning to be lower than our present population, is lower than our present population. There is need for the government to enhance the farm machinery and import technological machines so as to enable our farmers produce efficiently. Well, thank you for your comments, and this is the time we introduce you to our first guest today. He is Honorable Hamisu Ahmad Mailan Turkey. Is the chairman, CEO of Aqua Garden Fish Farm, also a farmer. You are welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
And allow me to congratulate you on your birthday. Today happens to be your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So how does it feel like to be, marking another, birthday?
Well, it's a very happy moment, you know, when you add a year. It's not an easy thing. It's something that it's only when you're blessed and when you're opportune to. Many people doesn't see the next year. So we thank God. It's a very happy moment.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing another, we're adding one more year.
Okay, now let's sustain you with this happiness. Now, I know a lot of farmers, when they, cultivate their farm produce, and of course, they want it in large quantity. They also want patronage, and for the buyer, you want it cheap and accessible. But today it's a different case in Nigeria. Today you go to the market and then you can't help but to notice the high cost of farm produce in the market today. For you, what would you associate this problem with?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, we have to look at the method of farming in this country and the availability of the storage facilities. You realize that there is a season for every farm product, and mostly during the season you get a lot of product in the market, to some extent that it has to be rotten. You have to throw it away because there's no proper storage facilities. And then sometimes within the year you realize that this kind of product are scarce in the market. So that is associated with the poor storage facilities in the country, and then we have to make it a kind of a culture to invest more in areas of storing what we produce, so that it will sustain us throughout the year. So I think this attribute to that, although I can say more in terms of in my area of specialization.
Now, well, let's come back to your area, and that's fish farming. And I know that we really don't expect any wastage in fish production in Nigeria. I don't know if we have anything like that, do we?
Well, we don't have much
because we don't really have enough to even feed ourselves in this country. Because I know Nigeria, as in the local production, is about 40% out of the total that we consume annually. And talk to me really, why do we have this ratio? Where do we, despite our water bodies, we still import about 60% of annual consumption of fish products in Nigeria?
Well, coming into as a legislator, when I was out of the, when I was not in the system, I look at it as something that is very difficult, but when I finish when I become a farmer, a catfish farmer, I started, before I go into the farming, we made a lot of research, to see why things are not going right and this, and so we realized that it's very sad, for a country like Nigeria to be importing like maybe 60% of the fish we consume in this country. We have a lot of water bodies, we have a lot of people that are interested in, but we are not getting it right. We keep importing every day. And then we made a lot of research on that, and we realized there are certain things. Catfish farming is very technical. It's so it requires a lot of education. It requires a lot of farmers need to be educated on what to do and what not to do, and when to do and when not to do, certain things. So by doing so, and I'm very happy to be the second, largest catfish farm in Abuja to operate.
Okay, you have the second largest
catfish farm in Abuja, based on production, because we put into the market about 7,000 to 10,000 kg of catfish every week since our inception. This is like 5 years ago, and with the kind of with the way we started and with the way we are operating, I see a lot of wisdom in participating in aquaculture, especially catfish farming. So, and I see a lot of opportunities where people need to study, people need to learn. You must study and understand what are we doing wrong, because we have everything that it takes to produce catfish. So what are we doing wrong, and what are we not doing right? So that is exactly what we did as Aqua Guardians, and today, as I told you earlier, we produce this volume of catfish, and looking even to our hatchery, because that is another very important component.
Okay, now we'll talk about all of this, because I want to know why really, the prices of fish products is very expensive now in the market. But we also want to know why, if Abakaliki rice is actually affordable in the market. So let's take this next report.
Abakaliki rice has not only gained entrance into the consumers market, but presently can compete favorably with the hitherto much desired foreign rice. This probably was as a result of effort by government at all levels to encourage farming and boost local production as a way of fighting food insecurity in the country, as in the case of Ebonyi State, where government revitalized and put into operation for optimum production the state-owned fertilizer plant, as well as mega rice processing plants in each of the 3 senatorial zones.
We partnered with the Nigerian Agricultural Promotion Council. Our policy in agriculture was actually verified and approved. And as at 2021, the results that proved that Ebonyi State is ranking one of the highest producers of rice came on board.
Despite all this, many challenges are still militating against the affordability of rice, as average Nigerians struggle to purchase a 25 kg bag of the product at the cost of between 10 to 12,000 naira, depending on the quality.
I think the cost of rice in Ebonyi State is too high for the common man in Ebonyi State to get it.
In Nigeria, sometimes you see government coming to intervene to improve on agriculture. They bring input, improve variety, bring in money. Most people that you see involved in the agriculture are not the real farmers. At the end, you will not see them in the field planting rice. Cumulatively, you see when a farmer is not really the real person in the farm, this one has collected the input, sold it to this, given to that. At the end, the main farmers that actually need this input to improve on the production of the rice, it may, before it gets to them, is already at high price.
People begin to love Abakaliki rice, and the demand is too much, so the prices increase.
A lot of people are coming from different parts of the country, from Port Harcourt, from Lagos, buy bulk of it, send to their home. At the end, we are left with almost nothing to keep ourselves. If it were really primarily to take care of people in Abakaliki, we have a lot. We'll be throwing away rice.
The species and processing method of Abakaliki rice are among the factors experts and consumers say contribute to its nutritional value. Inasmuch as more efforts are needed to make farming more attractive, especially among the youth, there is need to monitor and checkmate unnecessary hoarding of rice and other food items, which leads to artificial scarcity and price increase.
All right, there you have it from Abakaliki. And now the next comment here is coming from Honorable Jose Daniel TPM from Taraba State. He says, if we as a country want enough food, we have to use the manpower we have, the unemployed youth, by creating ward farms, local government farms and state farms, so as to absorb and engage unemployed youth. Now, we know that government has, invested heavily so far in agriculture. We talk about anchor borrowers, and recently we had the rice pyramid. But if you go to the market, the prices are still expensive. Now, is it down to the fact that these, interventions are not getting to the real farmers, or there's something else?
Okay, thank you. Then, looking at the policy and looking at the output, the result there, you realize that something is wrong. This government, there has never been a government that set aside a lot of resources to support agriculture like this government. But very unfortunate, the policies, I think there is something is wrong with the policies. Let me give you an example. The policies, the anchor borrower policies and other interventions that are made to complement or to support agriculture, you look at the theory component of the policies, the requirements to acquire these funds. Sometimes you realize there is too much, the requirements. A common farmer that resides in a remote village where he doesn't have access to technology, to phones, to the internet, to do that. And when you have a policy that restrict all the, that you have to go online, you have to apply this, you have to download this, you have to download that, So definitely, you at the end of it, you see most of the people that will access this fund, they are going to be those that have the capacity to fill forms, you do all the theories, the grammars, and assess the funds. But the actual farmers that are within a village, remote village where there is they may not have access to this.
This is, a lot of times this idea is politicized, and that's why we are not achieving that desired result. Now, as we wrap up this, session with you, how can we really, attain that position of having, food sufficiency in Nigeria? We know that Nigerian youths, we've talked about unemployment, lack of jobs. How can we, make the agri sector more attractive to the younger generation moving forward now?
Well, it's like what we're doing. We have to encourage private, participation. Government should do the, support, but at least people like us, farms like us, that we set up with our own, we started from the scratch, and to this point that we are constantly in the market. The farm is on its own. We train a lot of students. So policies like support that is coming from the government, the anchor borrower, so what have you, should focus on farms like ours, because we have all the experience, at least the process of going towards that long process to acquire. You can imagine, we set up more than 500 farms since we started. We train more than 1,000 students, from different universities, colleges of education, all we train them with, even from secondary school. But we do all this with our own effort, without any input from the government. So the government should take advantage of our existence, so that we can reach out to more and more and more people in a more practical, realistic, way of farming. Okay. So this is one of the things. We have to be serious. We have to at least have policies that are farmers oriented, policies that doesn't require any much writings or technology, to assess. For example, is not a rocket science. It's very simple. You have technology that you can map the entire country, so like the current policy, same farm, a lot of people will be using the same area to acquire the loan. When you go back to the same land, nothing is done. So policies like we should map the entire area where we produce rice, where we produce cassava, then we map it, lot it, give it number, then let every farmer from any locality, we can be able to trace with technology. From here in Abuja, you can trace anywhere, any part of the country. So you'll be able to identify, allocate, and monitor farmers, give them the input, the support. You see it from everywhere, what is happening, if they're improving, and then at the end of it, you take so I think the policies, the government, we need to look at the policies again and come up with people-oriented policies that doesn't require much technical, and technology to assess the funds. I think by doing so, we have a lot of human, resources with the population, with the natural. There is no reason why we can be crying of not producing what we will consume.
Thank you very much. Like the president will always say, let's consume what we produce and consume what we produce. Produce
what we consume.
Eat what we produce and produce what we eat. An interesting one there. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Honorable, Hamisu Ahmed Mailan Turkey, and we wish you the very best and happy birthday once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right now we go on a break, and after that we still have more for you, so please stay with us. All right, so we're still talking food sufficiency in Nigeria, and we know that in Kano State, irrigation farm is something I know they are making effort to make a culture there in Kano State, even though some people have said that a lot of our farming is relied on, the rainy season. So if we can do something different in that regard, like incorporating the irrigation farming, it will go a long way in ensuring that we have more produce in the market. So let's take this next report from NTA Kano.
Over the years, farmers' over-reliance on rain-fed agriculture to a large extent limited productivity of most food crops such as rice, sorghum, millet, maize, coffee among others, that form the staple food crops in this domain.
But as it is right now, in some areas, people didn't even plant because of the rain. We have a shortage of that rain, and that will affect the production of rice and the food security itself.
In recent years, the massive Back to Farm program launched by the Nigerian government was to encourage citizens to produce especially rice in abundance. But there seem strong forces struggling to hamper the impact of such programs. Insecurity is an example where farmers are deliberately denied access to their farms. Now, daily increase in the price of general commodities do not spare food items. Average citizens feel strong impacts of inflation.
There is need for increase in the agricultural budgetary allocation in terms of agriculture. Secondly, there is need for more extension services. We need adequate extension officers so that our farmers will be educated on the modern realities.
An afternoon visit to the Wano International Kano Grains Market, buyers are scanty, probably scared away either by the scorching sun or the inflation itself. Sellers' desire to maximize profits make them hold huge quantity of food to sell in period of scarcity. Worse even, foreigners troop in to offer better prices. In fact, for the average Nigerian consumer, it is a double jeopardy.
Government should send some bills that will tackle this problem. And this problem of hoarding, you are saying, at the same time, there is need to strengthen the consumer protection organization.
Agricultural stakeholders and government have a overwhelming role to play. Only sound policies could turn things around.
Your messages are still coming in. We'll take them at the right junction. But right now, let's take this next report from Ene Onobu, and she is looking at the nutritional value of organic food. Of course, we produce that in large quantity in Nigeria.
Nigeria is blessed with arable land, with natural resources and fertile land that lead to food sufficiency to a teeming population. Some analysts have argued that Nigerians have no reason to be hungry if the right policies are put in place. Nigeria has the potential to feed herself and other parts of Africa. In 2010 to 2017, the ratio of undernourished people has doubled by over 21 million, the biggest jump in any nation in Africa. This gravely means that many lack access to nutritious food required for healthy eating lifestyle. Why is this so?
The problem in the world is distribution. For us in Nigeria, it goes into production because of insecurity. More than 70% Nigerians are farmers at different levels.
You have commercial farmers. They depend on farming for sustenance. All they need a higher yield because economy of scales. So they don't mind using anything to increase their crop yield.
Recently, the World Food Summit identifies with the importance of organic input technologies, farming techniques that aid the organic system of growing food, which is healthy. Statistically, and since COVID, global demand for purely organic food rose from $15.2 billion in 1999 to $97 billion in 2017. The increase in demand for organic food across the globe gives credence to nutritious importance of organic products for healthy living.
It has gone that far. You can have organic fish. You can have organic meat, organic poultry. You don't use the production method you find in non-organic by not using synthetic and inorganic substances and chemicals. That is just it. Definitely, you'll be sure it will be a bit more expensive, But if you calculate the number of days you lie down in hospital, I'm sure you will not mind.
Pesticides are known, have been linked to cancer. They've also been linked to kidney, liver problems. Even if fertility issues matters, some of them are caused by some of these chemicals.
Although there are no statistical data of deaths resulting from processed or genetically modified food in Nigeria, there are concerns by stakeholders in the agricultural sector for Nigerians to embrace eating of farm-fresh produce devoid of chemicals, harmful pesticides, and preservatives. Today, many die from what they eat, and this is simply because most of the food available is laden with huge deposits of pesticides, herbicides, and preservatives. Many Nigerians, agro products such as ginger, hibiscus, turmeric, soya beans, peanut, tiger nut, and sesame seeds are perfect opportunity to develop the organic food sector.
When you produce naturally, that's organic. When your fertilizer is from the decomposed food material, the byproduct from processing, that is organic. All the waste in your kitchen, if you use it to produce, that's organic. All the waste on the farm, when you decompose it and you use it to produce, that's organic.
Some of these antibiotics that are given to animals, to the livestock, are the same antibiotics we use for human beings. So invariably what happens is that now there's a tendency for us to have antibiotic resistance, which we transfer to humans, and that will make treatment of infections very difficult.
Organic food are not just healthy, nutritious, and safe. They are the source of food that will sustain longer, healthier human longevity. Safe to say then that a healthy nation, a happy people, and a prosperous future.
An interesting one there, and of course we pick up from that with our next guest in the studio. He is Dr. Peter Garcia, large-scale farmer, and also he has helped in building other farms as a consultant. He's an expert when it comes to agriculture. You are welcome to our studios.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Now, from that report, we are blessed with, lands. We farm a lot of, organic food in the country. And these days, you realize that a lot of people are into, processed food. And, of course, we're feeling the impact.
Yes.
How did we get there?
Now, we have low class, mid class, and if you like, upper class in every society. The low class is comfortable with buying from the local market and just wash and eat. The middle class believes, okay, fine, let me go to an average market and pick. But the upper class seems, because of maybe exposure, well traveled and all that, lived outside. When they come back, they don't trust that our food is hygienic enough first. They don't also trust that Nigeria has grown beyond what maybe they left back at home. So when they come, and then sometimes they work long hours. So when they come home, they just want to open a can of something and turn it into the plate and eat. Instead of going to fresh vegetable, fresh onions, fresh rice, fresh fish, and they don't have the time, so they want a quick solution. So that started like a joke, but it has crippled into our veins, it has crippled into our time, and it has become like a culture and norm, like you rightly specified.
Perhaps our, most Nigerian farmers' lack of understanding as seeing the farm, seeing farming as business, perhaps is one of the reasons why we have high cost of food products in the market today. What really do we need to do differently in order to change this narrative, given the fact that, it's one key sector that's given employment to a lot of Nigerians?
Okay. The local farmer problem, one is after plowing and clearing, he needs herbicide. Herbicides is something you get from the market, and sometimes it's working effectively, and sometimes it doesn't work effectively for them. So you see, they now go tilling. So after putting herbicide, if you go tilling, your cost of labor is double. That is taken into perspective. When it comes to harvesting, they can harvest, they can do they can come in cluster group and harvest, but taking it from that village, from that town to a nearby city where it sells becomes logistics purpose. So if we have a program, we have such program, but how effective it is, we've had some program that agric logistics something, let them structure just for transportation to help them lift these goods from the farm to the market. If government can inculcate that in beautiful agencies that we have, this one is just for logistics transportation. Let's help them lift to the market, because the man will go to the market and go and look for one trailer or one truck or one pickup. The man pickup will not charge him because he's a farmer. He will charge him because he's carrying goods and services, and then the price becomes exorbitant. By the time he leaves to the place, the man has not even planned how to sell his product. One other thing that is very good for a farmer before harvesting: go to the market, do a survey, find out, if I harvest this, how much will I sell it, so that you begin to work your profit.
I was telling you about one of our guests that say government should, take its mind away from subsidizing the agric implement, but rather provide the enabling environment and create a market, and if possible be the first off takers of the farm produce. That way it will help make the prices of these food items more friendly to the buyers, and then the farmers will be able to invest more in their farmlands.
That's a very good point. If government should offtake from the farmer, the government are not into trading. They are into storage before they now release with the possible period where they expect that there will be hike in product. How much of this produce government can take? The silos, the preservatives, where we came, how many of them do we have in the nation? What do we really do in the nation? We just farm, we eat, and it goes. We don't preserve. So, and that is why the windows of borders are open to bring in what we need. And that's why till today I was just telling somebody sitting here, I said, do you know that even Abuja don't have enough fish to still feed itself till this very day? The fish comes from Ibadan every 5 a.m. at life camp, and that comes about 1,500 tons. So there is no, because of preservation.
Yeah, an interesting point there, but we'll talk further about rural farmers, because some are saying that from some of the messages we've gotten here that the government needs to fix the rural areas in order to make it more attractive for the younger generations there to avoid mass exodus to the city and leaving the land bare, unattended to. Now let's take this next report, and it's on further rice. Maybe we'll look at the nutritional value of further rice. I'm sure you like further rice as well.
Yeah, tastier.
All right, let's take this report.
It has been observed that despite the effort of government in agriculture, the prices of food items in the market are above the reach of the common man.
But when you have young people who are ready to produce, and when you have industries who have established meal with that farm, that we are talking about industrialization, industrial opportunity. So a good number of off-takers are queuing up to purchase of other rice paddy from local farmers. And people, we're also keen into agricultural opportunity, direct investment, foreign, local and national investments in agriculture. And some of these people, they're actually into establishing a rice mill. Some of them want to fill their meal with ofada rice. We also have a project we are doing, IFAD, federal government project, and they're also supporting young people into growing ofada rice. So we're growing rice in 8 local government areas in Ogun State.
Undoubtedly, rice has become staple in Nigeria. However, notwithstanding favorable weather conditions for cultivation, technical and material inputs by government for increase in production, ofada rice remains scarce in supply. The price of a measure of ofada rice is over 100% higher than the imported rice.
Have different
ofada that people are doing from different states. The real ofada is from Ogun State, and we have it, and we are bold enough to tell you we have ofada gold. We have two types of ofada. There is ofada white ofada and gold ofada. This one we planted is all gold, ofada gold. When you even people that have diabetes, they even rush. Doctor used to tell them that they should go for ofada instead of those white one.
Other factors responsible for the scarcity of ofada rice include higher demand at home and abroad, especially by patients of diabetes. Interventions by government at both state and federal levels and support by international organizations and agencies remain a mirage in the production of ofada rice in Ogun State, as demand and supply are yet to hit equilibrium. And until this is achieved, it stands to reason that ofada rice production in Ogun State is not sufficient to feed Nigeria.
I actually didn't know that we have two types of ofada rice in the country, and very interesting point from that report that it cures diabetes.
Yes, it does, but like I said, like I observed, I just heard now, it has high starch, so the component of curing diabetes is low, but it does than normal rice, because normal rice still contains, because the ofada is local.
Okay.
Because it's local, by the time it goes through processing, the starch is still high.
Okay.
But because of the fiber content,
okay,
that's what helps to cure diabetes.
So that's a very smart engagement with your workers, an interesting one there. And of course, the bottom line is when you go to the market, you want to ensure that the food is available and it's affordable. And that is the goal of every Nigerian.
Yes,
but
yes.
to get to that point, what are other things that we need to do differently in order to get this right? Or are we in a situation whereby we'll continue to witness constant increase of products of produce in the market?
Like I said earlier, everybody in quote has to go back to farm. 2, everybody have to see it as a business, because whatever everybody is doing right now is business. Whether you're a civil servant, whether you are a bread seller, it's a business. And then more sensitization on how profitable a business farm can be would let some people go back. And even if the place where they are is not safe, they can look for a place that is safe, relatively safe, and do some business farming. If we do that, it will go a long way, because there will be more persons farming, there will be more produce coming to the market, and they will all hit themselves at the center. The price will drop because there is availability. It will meet the demand. But right now, produce is not meeting demand. So if it's not meeting demand in that way, the price must go up. And the person will justify his cost that the seedling is expensive, herbicide is expensive, tractor hiring is expensive, logistics from the farm to the market is expensive, which are facts. But like I said, if more people, there are different kind of farming. It could be snail, it could be fish, it could be, just find something to do, add value. Maybe in your backyard. Some of us live outskirts towns. If your backyard, do something. It will reduce the money you are spending. If you farm something, you'll see that your monthly budget will drop.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, away from food sufficiency, today happens to be World Sickle Cell Day, and of course the emphasis has been laid on the importance of self-care in the management of sickle cell disorder in Nigeria. So let's take this report from NTA Ibadan.
The need for people to be conscious of their health status by knowing their genotype has been stressed. This came to the fore at an awareness campaign to mark the World Sickle Cell Day 2022 with the theme Community Participation, a key to achieving equity towards reducing the burden of sickle cell, held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
World Sickle Cell Day is celebrated all over the world. This is to call into remembrance awareness
in the community. It's not that we are dancing and saying, oh, it's good they have sickle cell disease. No, but we want everybody to be awakened to the need of these people. If we just keep quiet, nobody is thinking of them. Even some families have driven their own children out. They say your problem is too much and they forget about them. But we are calling everybody that you can do something. No matter how little, each of you can do something. And when we do that every year, all over the world, people come to understand, organizations come to join together, and they try their best to be able to partner with NGOs and with government and bring things that will improve the life of these people.
Some of the patients living with sickle cell disorder describe their situation as challenging, going by stigmatization in the society.
I wanted to achieve something in life too. I didn't want people to see me as, because of sickle cell anemia, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So I felt that I should do something for myself, and also I make other sickle cell wearers know that being sickle cell doesn't mean that you cannot drive and follow your dreams in life.
I've not been tied down by sickle cell because I'm an ex-banker and presently an entrepreneur, a serial one at that. I do online business, digital business, and also I'm a writer. So I am thriving with sickle cell.
The issue of SA is disturbed me a lot. I'm supposed to go to police. I was in school, I have crisis, I could not write the exam. So later I have to drop out. But when I got married, I went to College of Education, Echo Head. By today, I am a teacher. I teach in nursery and primary school, and I have little business that I'm doing.
Corporate organizations and individuals were urged to take up the challenge of catering for people living with this disorder.
Sickle cell patients continually have their red blood cells breaking down continually, and it is at this point that we come in with our amino acid supplement, not only in theory but in practical, by giving out.
My organization has decided to support this foundation with some medications so that the patient will be able to have a free access to this medication and use at least that will cover them for a while.
We also want the government to establish some things like newborn screening. I think Oyo State is trying to look into that. There are some organizations in the world now trying to bring that into the country, and we hope that Oyo State is going to key in as a pace setter state and is going to make sure that its children get diagnosed within 2 days after birth.
Free drugs were given to patients by the Sickle Cell Hope Alive Foundation, with a call on Nigerians to support the plight of the people living with sickle cell disorder by not stigmatizing them, rather showing them love.
Avoid stigmatization and ensure that they are well loved. But lifestyle modification can also help in managing sickle cell disorder. Thank you very much for the time you have spent with us today. And from all we have discussed as far as food sufficiency is concerned, one thing is very clear, that yes, the government is doing a lot in ensuring that we have food sufficiency in Nigeria, but effort must be doubled to ensuring also that we have food security in Nigeria. And that does it for us this weekend. Next weekend, certainly, we'll be looking at something different that will surely interest you. Bye for now.